Hi, my name is Alexa, and I will be focusing on the shoulder. My client has impairment of shoulder impingement syndrome.
Okay, so the first thing we're going to be looking at is the static posture. So as you can see, you want to check each checkpoint starting from the ankles, from his knees to his hips, up to his shoulders and his neck. So as you can see from the anterior view, there's not any abnormalities with his feet. Go up to the knees, also not any abnormalities. Go to his hips, not any at all either. Then you go to his shoulders, and you can see that he has elevated shoulders, and one seems higher than the other. And then you turn to the lateral view coming in walking. In the lateral view, you can see that he has rounded shoulders and his head is a little forward. But other than that, on his lower extremity, there's not any abnormalities. In his posterior view, you can really see how he has elevated shoulders right now, and how one shoulder sits higher than the other, and then he also has an upper round.
These are pictures demonstrating the findings that we found in his static posture. In the anterior view, you can see his elevated shoulders. In his lateral view, you can see the forward head posture, and in his posterior view, you can see the elevated shoulders again.
The next assessment we're going to be doing is an overhead squat. So you're going to start with your feet shoulder width apart, and then your hands over your head. And then can you do 5 for me? As you can see, while he's doing the overhead squat, his arms are dropping, so he's not able to keep them above his head. Perfect, and then turn to the lateral view for me. As well, here in the lateral view, you can really see that his arms are dropping, and he's just not able to keep his posture up straight, and his chest is kind of dipping down when he's going.
Alright, so we're going to confirm the overactivity.
And then posterior.
Doing a hip extension right now. So we're going to have her land on her back. So she's almost off the table.
As well as here, you can see that his arms are dropping and his shoulders are not equally aligned. And this would be due to overactive muscle
The axis with her greater choke hinter.
The main finding in the overhead squat was he was unable to keep his hands above his head due to an overactive latissimus dorsi, pectoralis major and minor, coracobrachialis, and teres major, and an underactive mid and lower trap, rhomboids, posterior delt, rotator cuffs, and subscapularis.
Next assessment we'll be doing is testing his shoulder flexion. So he's going to stand on the wall and he's going to go up as far as he can. And because he's having shoulder problems and pain in his shoulders, he shouldn't be able to go all the way up. So as you can see, he's not able to go all the way up. He also has a little bit of his back coming off of the wall. This can be due to an overactive teres major and a latissimus dorsi and underactive rhomboids, mid and lower traps. Now we're going to be doing range of motions, which is going to be testing his shoulder flexion. So I'm going to be using a goniometer. So he's going to raise his arm and go as far back as you can.
And if you find a trigger point, you can stop and hold it for just a couple of seconds.
So on this arm, he's at about 150 and normal is 160. So now we're going to be going to the other side. Let me do this with Ben. And go. And on this side, he's about at 140, and that could be due to overactive latissimus dorsi and teres. Now we're going to be doing a manual muscle test on his mid and lower trap because, as shown in static posture and overhead squat, and his shoulder flexion, he was not able to raise his arms up all the way, had rounded shoulders and dropped shoulders, which could mean that he has a underactive mid and lower trap. So I'm going to be putting my hand right here. He's going to raise his arm, and I'm going to be pushing down, and he's going to try to resist me. Good. As you can see, he wasn't necessarily able to resist me completely, which can be due to a underactive mid and lower trap. And then we're going to be testing the other side as well. Resisting. As you can see on this side, another manual muscle test we're going to be testing is his subscapularis because that was also underactive and weak, which could be due or shown in his overhead squat, his shoulder flexion as well. So he's gonna have his hand like this, and I'm gonna be trying to push him out, and he's not gonna try to not let me. Good. So on that side, we give that side a 3, and then switch and do it on this side as well. Don't let me push out. As you can see on that side, it's a lot weaker, and I was able to push his arm out. Now we're going into our inhibitory technique. So what he's going to do is he's going to be rolling out his latissimus dorsi because that was one of the overactive muscles continuously. So he's going to lay on his side, and one arm's going to be over the other, over the foam roller, and then you're going to roll back and forth, and you're going to do 1 to 2 sets. And once you find that trigger point, you're going to lay on there for about 30 to 90 seconds. And then obviously he would end up switching sides and doing this as well, 1 to 2 sets, finding that trigger point and just holding that there. For technique, he's going to be using a lacrosse ball. He's going to be placing it on the wall here, and then you're going to be placing it, and then put your back on it, and then lean on it. And he's going to be rolling out his teres major because that was another overactive muscle. We want to make sure that it's not as tight as it is right now. And he's going to be doing 1 to 2 sets and holding that for 30 to 90 seconds, especially on a trigger point that he finds. Now we're going to be doing a lengthening technique. So he's going to be stretching his latissimus dorsi. So he's going to grab his hand on the wall and he's going to lean back and lean into it so that you can feel that stretch right in here. And hold it for about 30 to 90 seconds. And you want to pull as far back as you can and make sure that you're feeling that stretch. And you want to do 1 to 2 sets and hold that for about 30 to 90 seconds.
I would give this side about a 1 until there's some inhibition or she's kind of limiting herself because that's good pain as well as
we're lengthening this muscle because in his overhead squat his arms were dropping, and so we want to make sure that we're lengthening it so that it's not super tight.
Perfect.
And then you would
And
switch
now-
sides for me.
So that's everything for the assessments now. What we have to do is
Basically, definitely. The hard, the easier stuff, I guess.
Now for the next lengthening exercise, he's going to be stretching his teres major. So he's going to put one arm over the other and grab it with the opposite hand. And then he's going to lean to one side and make sure that you're stretching that. And if you need to, you can even go farther to make sure that you feel that. And you're going to be holding that for 30 to 90 seconds and doing that for 1 to 2 sets. Again, we're doing this stretch because in his overhead squat and in his shoulder flexion test, he was not able to keep his arms up and he had pain with that. And then switch for me.
Activation and integration, your client should be doing 1 to 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps, holding concentric for 2 seconds, 2 seconds isometric hold, and 4 seconds eccentric hold.
For the activation exercise, his subscap. So we're going to be going internally rotation. It's going to be going in. Here, we're going to start out and bring it in. We're going to be doing 1 to 2 sets of that with 10 to 15 reps. And here, we're just activating his subscap. Perfect, and then you would switch and do your other side. So now for his next activation exercise, we're going to be working his mid and lower traps. So he's going to be doing I's and Y's. So he's going to go here on the bench, and he's going to have the weight in his hand. He's going to hold it down here, and he's going to bring it up, and then out. And here we're working his middle and lower traps. He's going to be doing 1 to 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps, and we're doing these because in his overhead squat and his shoulder flexion assessment, he was showing weakness or underactive muscles in his lower trap and mid trap. He's doing an integration exercise for his subscap, so he's going to be doing the same motion of his internal rotation. So now he's going to internally rotate, and he's going to pivot his foot and push through. So we're working multiple joints and going through multiple planes of movement. exercise we're gonna be doing is shoulder flexion. So he's gonna grab the cable and he's going to start from down here. And we're working his mid-lower traps. He's gonna start from down here and he's gonna pull up. So we're going shoulder flexion or extension and flexion. And he's gonna do 1 to 2 sets of 10 to 15 reps. Again, we're working multiple joints and going through multiple planes of movement.